UDC r/leftists are finally speaking out against anti-Semitism. Jesus Christ. Anti-Semitism, racism, and bigotry will not be tolerated. R/leftist is insane. Mossad, pay your interns better. This is embarrassingly pathetic. You always hear stories of Reddit mods being drunk on power, but this right here also has the benefit of being extremely funny. Guy really thinks he holds legitimate power. There is not enough grass in the world to get this man back to a baseline level of social aptitude. His brain belongs to the internet now, and it's glorious. Perhaps you fascist Zionist freaks prefer this sort of picture. Jesus Christ. What? Are you okay, bro? Wait, how do you go back after you click a picture? Oh, it's a different thing. Disgusting. It's not antiseptic to show the face of an actual Zionist settler whose ugly fucking face perfectly looks like their entire genocidal ideology. Oh my god. Hold on, what was the post? What the title says, I'm beyond exhausted hoping that some of y'all will pull your head out of your asses and live up to the values necessary to be a passable human being. Since this has been a repeated failure, we will move to a zero-tolerance model going forward. Anti-Semitism will result in a 28-day suspension of your account from this subreddit, followed by a permanent ban for any infraction afterwards. Racism will result in a 28-day suspension. Bigotry, this definitely includes transphobia, will result in a 28-day suspension. Genocide denial will result in a 28-day suspension. If you have a doubt of whether or not something's going to run afoul of these zero-tolerance boundaries, don't fucking post it. No, I'm not going to rules, lawyer, technicalities. This is a warning to all users. I don't give a fuck how well you discuss theory. The praxis you claim to have accomplished, none of it. As of 9:15 Eastern, any further comments defending this content as not being anti-Semitic will be permanently banned. Damn. I feel like I always just think of like swapping out other things. I've said this before, like swap out other subjects in a sentence to see if you feel the same way, and if you don't, then there might be something else operating that you're not thinking about. Like if you had some kind of like a Middle Eastern Arab flag and you put like a face like this on it, I'm pretty sure most people would lose their fucking shit here. Is that an actual guy though? That would make it better? Probably, yeah. There's like the weird dude. Is it this guy that people always cite? But I mean, like, you can find a weird looking dude of literally any race ever. Or, I mean, like, stereotypes exist for a reason, right? Like, if I were to start drawing flags of black people with the biggest lipped, biggest, what do they have? Cheeks? Nose? I don't know. Whatever your stereotypes for black people or whatever, and say, oh, well, no, it's a real person. Like, I don't think anybody would be happy with that. Destiny. Oh, God. The Hassan cringe. I'm good. This guy is riding off of fucking Mamdani's coattails harder than any fucking person in the history of all of the internet. Okay, what are all these memes? I have things open. Darkness, endless, despair, no more, all this, blackened, no sound, no pain. Okay. Byron Donalds is black. My new ad. Wait, what? Would you consider Mamdani's endorsements to be an example of a politician spending political capital? Because if his picks end up being shit, won't it be on him? Yeah, I guess it's a risk, right? He's staking some reputation on getting them elected, and then so we'll see how they turn out, I guess, right? mean, like, it could be like a cute attention getter, but I feel like this guy's been involved in so much weirdo, kind of like far right shit. Can you explain to me how exactly did he fuck up the audio? I don't know. I should look at what this does. Yesterday, there was a weird thing where the audio was sounding a little bit lower quality, depending on how I streamed it from this computer. And it was because I have a setting on the channel that was turned off, and it's called width. And I don't actually know what width does. I should look it up. It has something to do with the stereo mix or something, but like... Wait. Hold on. 0? Like, what's the difference between this and this? Wait. Do you guys even hear the difference? Oh yeah, it changes it for everybody. I don't know why. Like, width is stereo crossfeed? What does that mean? It adjusts the stereo image. Does it really? Is 0 really just mono? Huh, I don't know. I don't know why stuff sounds hollow like this sometimes. If I had to guess, actually, maybe it was just like a really aggressive filter put to get rid of background noise that was being picked up by the mic. He doesn't have like a little... Sometimes you'll put like a little furry thing on the top. It looks like he's got a little thing on the top, not a big one. You'll put a little furry thing on the top to catch wind, like a windscreen, and it looks like the flag is blowing in the background. So maybe there's like wind here, and they just aggressively filtered it, and that's why it sounds like they took out too much of the... I don't know, that's my guess. What is this? Somebody said this is voice acting from this game.
Then slit the dominant's throat in the chaos.
This is a guy, right? A famous guy? An actor? Not just a VA? Or no?
I didn't know it was her. How could it be? And so, to save her neck, you slit your sergeants, then set your sights on the hills.
Okay.
Conveniently forgetting how the Empire deals with deserters.
Maybe I just think of him from other video games.
Chop, my friend. We both know you won't be getting far.
No, I knew this guy's face. No, I do know this guy. Fuck you. Is this the guy? Or am I getting trolled?
Okay, doesn't run. Could melt eating. Baggage. Bio.
Wait, he's in the thumbnail for this. Oh, is that him? Whatever, okay. He was in The Witch. Okay.
You've fallen a long way, Lord Rossfield.
Is this the one what was the Final Fantasy game where the trailer, the guy said the word, fuck, what was it? Fuck, what was he saying? It was like retribution. It wasn't that, though. What am I thinking of? Chaos. Kill chaos. Oh, yeah, chaos. I don't know if that game ended up being good or not. I don't even know what game that
A
was.
lot of it said that I'm a poor host.
What do you mean to do with her?
Do with her? Why, nothing. Her life is her own now. If I wanted to use her, do you think I'd be talking to you?
Okay, I haven't played this whole game, and I'm never going to play this whole game. This does sound significantly better, though, than the game I'm playing now. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being a hater. What is this?
Almost
Destiny brought up.
purposely trying to be as boring as possible with your personal life is a great prophylactic. Like, people just get very, they'll move on to what is more easily consumable. And for as long as Destiny exists, I'm not going to be top of the list. Like, there was a period where Destiny's private life was just made the most public thing over and over and over again. And Hassan will get in bother over and over and over and over again. Or Nick Fuentes will come through, or Huberman will come through. There's a lot of people that are like easier access than me, who I think my biggest defense is purposely making my private life very boring and not really talking about it all that much. And people just move on. And that for me is like, I'm completely fine by that as my strategy.
The other thing that I think is important is not exposing yourself to the algorithms all that much. So I don't tweet. We've started putting clips up on Instagram, and even doing a little bit more of that, I feel the pull of it, the want of it. So I'm a big fan of all these mid-century media theorists like Marshall McLuhan and Neil Postman and Walter Ong, and all of them basically, their main idea is that every medium changes the user. So we think what we're doing when we turn on the television or turn on X or turn on Instagram or read a book for that matter, is we are consuming content. We are choosing, and we can make better or worse decisions, right? We can be better or worse people, watch better or worse shows. And their whole view is no, it is always using and changing you. There's a great Marshall McLuhan quote where he says, I'll butcher it a little bit from memory, but he says, the content of a medium is the juicy steak thrown to distract the watchdog of the mind. And his point is that while you're sitting there getting mad at a tweet, what's actually happening is that your sense of how ideas should feel and look, how long they should be, while you're sitting there looking at Instagram, your sense of what everything should look like, it's all changing. And as it changes, you change with it, and particularly with these algorithms that create.
Okay. That Jon Stewart interview right there is based. I'll take your word for it. I can't figure out if he's soft defending Trump or not. Who? What is this?
Our government, and it's so dangerous what we're seeing.
Didn't we just find out Ezra takes someone's money? Or am I making shit up? I don't know. There's some leak about like a Peter Thiel secret society group. No offense, I just might be brain broken on the tech people. These guys seem so lame. I don't even know if they could create a secret society. Like, it feels like they would all get together and be like, we should all make our own secret crypto token and then fucking trade it amongst ourselves. And it would be, I don't know. These seem fucking losers. I would actually have more respect for these guys if they created a cool secret society where they were like fucking eating people or whatever. But
our government, and it's so dangerous what we're seeing. You can like Trump or not like Trump. It doesn't. People are going to like presidents and dislike presidents, but now defying the rule of law because he happens to be the head of the federal government and openly defying the federal government, the repercussions of that are going to be, okay, fine, you can't stand this man, you think he's a terrible president, and you're not going to follow his laws, but that's the new normal now. So when a president gets in that you do support, then the other side, because we've established this precedent, they're just not going to follow his laws either.
Right.
And now we've eroded the rule of law. And then what happens?
The slippery slope is very dangerous.
Our government, and it's so dangerous what we're seeing. You can like Trump or not like Trump. It doesn't. People are going to like presidents and dislike presidents, but now defying the rule of law because he happens to be the head of the federal government and openly defying the federal government, the repercussions of that are going to be, okay, fine, you can't stand this man, you think he's a terrible president, and you're not going to follow his laws, but that's the new normal now. So when a president gets in that you do support, then the other side, because we've established this precedent, they're just not going to follow his laws either.
Right.
And now we've eroded the rule of law. And then what happens?
The slippery slope is very dangerous.
I would have to watch more of this. I mean, this sounds like it could be a soft defense of Trump. I don't know. Also, I'm a little bit biased. This does sound a little bit like a soft defense of Trump. I don't know anything about this Yellowstone show other than I've gotten fed a few clips of it on YouTube. And I feel like the clips I've seen are literally, I don't know if a guy gets elected as a new mayor or governor or something, but like he walks into an office and he's like, who are y'all? And they're like, oh, we are your policy advisors. What do y'all do? Well, we decide what the policy is for you because we're gay government bureaucrats. And he's like, I just figured out how to save a whole lot of money. You're all fired. Bring in my cattle. And like, And then he's like, how much did we just save? And his secretary's like, you just saved $1.4 million. I want to slobber on your fucking cock. That was so fucking hot. And he's like, oh, that's all good, but I got to go take care of my cows on my ranch. I don't know what the show's about, but the whole thing like comes off to me that way. So I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe that was like just one clip of the thing, but Just seemed like an epic, normal everyman, cattle rancher guy gets made a big government guy. Oops, wrong thing. And now he's here to show all the weak government bureaucrats how things are really done. What is
I
this?
can't imagine how you can defend some of the things that you've been posting for years. Some of the things that you've written. You tweeted, "Suck it up, bro," in response to a post discussing Senator Kane's
You should defy laws where those laws are illegal, though, right? I said this before, but anytime you say a word or you say a thing, you're invoking a whole network of concepts, and you don't really understand all the concepts that you're invoking because that's just not how language works. It's like webs of ideas that are all kind of connected. Like when you say what is a man or what is a woman or whatever the fuck else. Right? There's a whole network of concepts that we're kind of blowing up here, and the issue is that there's like an ontology. There's an essential qualifying list of things for any topic that we talk about, but we don't always enunciate those, and we might not even immediately know what those things are, but they are there. And the problem is somebody will break the ontology, but then challenge you to continue to adhere to the things that you said about it. So, for instance, you think we should follow the law, right? And you're like, yes, the law is important. Tell me more about how it's important. Well, without orderly society, without the laws that we all agree on existing, it would lead to chaos, and it would just be lawlessness definitionally. But like that would lead to like suffering and all this horrible stuff, and we wouldn't know how to hold anybody accountable, and we'd have to enforce it. Might makes right. It would just be horrible, and it'd be like, okay, liberal. Well, I just made a new law today that says all men get to rape all women once per day. Now what, liberal? And you're like, okay, well, I'm probably not going to follow that law. Oh, so now I've exposed you as a hypocrite. You're not going to follow the laws, boy, because you don't like them. I didn't like the laws when you took my taxes, and now you don't want to follow the laws when I tell you y'all got to rape. Well, what's going on, liberal? And the liberal is like scratching your head. Is like, fuck, I think did he just get me in a hypocrisy? He kind of did, I guess, because it's not like I said before that the laws had to be a certain way. But the reality is like there is an essential idea or component of what it means for a thing to be a law that is kind of like underpinning all of this. You just don't really think about it a lot. And especially now with the Trump admin, they have so fundamentally altered so many of the different structures of government and so many of the different ways that the executive branch works that every time, this is why I always tell you, don't let somebody else from the outside come in and beat you over the head with your own rule book, because they don't play by those rules. And the things that they want to change and the things they want to do are going to mutate those rules in ways that you never would have wanted them used in the past. Like, for instance, like the vote blue no matter who thing, right? Why do we say vote blue no matter who? What's really underlining that, what's really underpinning the blue in that vote blue no matter who is like a broad concept of what it means to be a Democrat, right? Somebody who is largely for more like social safety nets, somebody who is largely more socially progressive or liberal. So you would want to protect rights for things like abortion, probably, for things like minorities and gay people. More centrally, right? These are all things that are underpinning what it means to be a Democrat, right? So vote blue no matter who means even if you don't get the Democrat you want, you should vote blue no matter who. But then, as we've seen like with the DSA people, when you start to get insanely radical people in that are either testing the edges of what we considered blue to be or exist outside of that boundary, and then they come back and they're like, you said you had to vote blue no matter who. It's like, okay, yeah, I guess, kind of, but like, now I'm not even sure. I don't even know if I would have ever considered these people blue. Like, if I would have known before that blue includes actual Marxist-Leninist communists that want a violent revolution in the United States, I don't think I would have ever made that statement before, right? But now it sounds like you're just backtracking because you just don't like the current blue candidate, and then they're going to say, oh, so you're doing the exact same thing that we did when we didn't like your candidates. And it's like, well, but before, didn't we all kind of had a shared understanding of what it meant to be blue? And wasn't that literally a concept we all agreed on? And you were literally attacking that concept. And now that you found somebody that is like outside of that, but you're trying to hijack the movement and jump into it, now you're trying to use our old rule with new definitions to attack us and make us seem hypocritical. These arguments are very sophisticated and like very like, would it be more abstract or more applied? I mean, it would be a more abstract argument. And we just don't really think about these things all the time. So it's just hard to grapple with it because we don't live in that hypothetical world, you know? Somebody says all human life is important, categorically speaking, right? It's like, yeah, so you don't think all human life should be protected, right? Yeah. Well, what if I bred humans that had parts of their brains changed so that the only things that made their existence pleasurable was mass murder, rape, arson? Would you protect those humans? And it's like, Jesus. Well, because you want to say yes, because you said you would protect all human life, right? And you would protect murderers, right? You don't want them to be killed, right? They go to prison, right? You wouldn't just kill them. But what's happened is that the person has altered the definition to some extent of like, we don't usually consider human beings as creatures that as an essential part of that creature is a thing that just wants to like murder and destroy. Like that's just not what a human is to most people's understanding. There might be like an aberrant human, like a somebody that's way off the norm that's like that, and then they would get all of the same qualifications and protections as like, you know, what we would assign to the class of humans. But we would never consider like a whole group of humans that lack, you know, fundamental human empathy. That seems to torture the definition or expand it to something that we wouldn't agree with. And then if we had that definition, can there be whole groups of humans that just get pleasure from murdering and destroying? Well, I don't know if we would have ever made the original statement of like all human life should be protected. Maybe that human life shouldn't be protected, you know? But it's a very abstract like ontology argument that is hard to understand sometimes because we just don't normally operate in that realm much, you know? What is this? Do you think we're approaching a point in politics where the Dems should attempt to bar DSA members from running any Democrat primary and bite the bullet of a potentially split ticket in order to make a clean divide between the two parties? I don't know if... Are you allowed to tell people who can or can't write or ride? I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm saying ride because I'm reading a stupid message. Can you bar people from running under a certain political party? I don't know how that works. I mean, they're private, I guess. Maybe you could.
Brilliant people I've ever worked with. He tries to explain it. I'm trying to get my head around it. I've never done motion capture before. I'm watching Benedict Cumberbatch do the Lion King or whatever the fuck he does, and he's like, "Rah!" I'm like, oh shit,
Here's something I'm curious for the DSA people. Is if a single payer healthcare is a hugely animating issue for them, I wonder if they would fight hard on gerrymandering. Because I mentioned this yesterday, I think gerrymandering only hurts moderate Dems, bro. We're getting attacked from all ends, right? Because how many DSA members are going to be running in Louisiana or Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi or Tennessee? How many DSA members are going to be running down there, right? My guess is probably none will ever make it through the primaries there, let alone win a general election. So in a way, gerrymandering kind of benefits the DSA because they're only attacking the Dems from the most blue districts possible, right? They can't really be hurt as much there. I wonder if they would ever come out and support gerrymandering bans or gerrymandering laws on the books for the federal government the same way that ordinary Democrats would. I have no idea.
way better at this than I am. And then I found out they couldn't use any of it because his hands coming in between his camera. You know, it's skin-tight Lycra bodysuit with balls all over you that you stick to everything. You're supposed to be making out with Leia Sadu and you're banging foreheads on cameras. Same with Mads. And then Hideo will go, okay, pick up the baby doll and cry. And you're like, what about? And he's like, and you cry because the strand of the you're like, I don't know what any of that means. I'm very sorry.
Did you see Sam Seder's response to the primary? No, my guess is all of their responses are going to be the exact opposite of what it was for the Virginia, New Jersey stuff, to where all of them are going to be saying, this is it. This is the evidence. Socialists are coming for the rest of you guys.
I trust you, but I don't know what that means. And then he's like, look up a whale. Hideo is one of the most brilliant people.
Look up a whale. Sometimes you say something smart, then pause for dramatic effect. And whenever you do that, I just imagine an anime character adjusting their glasses and letting the light reflect on them. If I'm pausing, it's usually because I've given what I thought was a fairly big concept, and I don't want to just move on immediately from it because I feel like it's a lot. I might also just be thinking my next sentence. Nothing personal, kid.
Winner. Who won the 2020 election?
2020, Joseph Biden was declared the winner of the 2020 election by a joint session of Congress.
He was declared the winner?
Yes.
The people of America declared him the winner. Correct?
Wait, did the camera freeze, or was that him just not? Hold on. Oh, it muted.
Correct?
Oh, okay. Nice.
There was an election, and it proceeded through the normal procedures outlined in the Constitution, including
And he
state
won the
votes that led-
popular vote, correct?
As a judicial nominee, it would be inappropriate to comment on a disputed political and legal
I'm
issue.
asking you as a matter of fact.
And the people he endorsed will destroy the Democratic Party from within. It's unfortunate that you praised him so heavily. True. My praise for him is why he endorsed people. I mean, like, there was the one crazy lady who seems pretty crazy. I don't know what the rest of the DSA candidates are like, though. Not to buy in too much to the IRI ultra hopium narrative, but, like, it is possible that a lot of these guys just kind of become pretty standardish Democrats in terms of how they vote and everything. So, I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world if we have pretty blue people from pretty blue districts. I think the scary thing is that I think typically what you try to do is if you have like, let's say you have these regions, you've got like contested districts, you've got conservative districts, you've got very conservative districts, and then you've got like Democratic districts, and you've got very Democratic districts. Is typically, I think you want your seats of power, like your big, like your majority speaker positions, your party leader positions, is you generally want them to be in these areas. Because you don't want, like, imagine if Pelosi was from, I don't know, like Pennsylvania or Michigan or something, and then she just like loses an election to a Republican, and now you've lost a really big political leader because they're in like an exposed district. So you usually want them, I think, in your pretty blue areas. So the only thing scary about the DSA shit is that they seem to only ever run in these areas. And so if our party leadership is threatened, and especially if they're gunning for the party leadership, just from what I've seen of DSA type people, they don't ever really seem to be electorally minded. They just seem to be, I don't even know, whatever ideological shit they're hyper fixated on. I also think, so in some ways people are correct about a thing, but I think they're a little incorrect in the long haul about a thing, which I think people need to be careful of. So a lot of people are saying that this means that the DSA is a lot more powerful than we ever thought because they're getting so many people elected. But I think that's the wrong take. I think Mamdani is just very, 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 very popular. And the Mamdani endorsement probably meant a lot more than them being DSA members. But some people are saying that, like, oh, so we don't have to worry about the DSA at all. It's just the Mamdani endorsement. I mean, like, Mamdani can tie his brand to the DSA, and that can lift up the brand of the DSA, especially if they're winning primaries too. So that is a thing to be concerned about as well, right? Did anyone from the DSA take a seat from Republicans? No. The DSA will exclusively be an issue that we have in the party that we have to fight against. Another issue too, so like, here's like a thing that I want to say. This would be like a mature approach is, one thing I can say is like, it's not necessarily bad if people who are further left than you are winning seats, especially in bluer areas in your party, right? Like, we could look to that as being like, okay, well, maybe the electorate is moving, or maybe there are other policy positions that we could consider adopting. That's not necessarily bad. The only thing that's annoying, I guess, is these people have an intense disdain for the rest of the party, which makes it can't be a one-way collaborative effort. It has to be two-way. So if, it can't be that the center-left libs, and this is always the issue with libs and why they all fail and they can't understand this and they'll never adopt this, is you can't sit here and say like, well, I'm okay with having somebody further to the left of me. I think that's okay. We can have these people in the party. When all of those people are saying, well, if you're to the right of me on any of these issues, it means that, one, you're supporting a genocidal apartheid state, and you're pro-genocide and pro-Nazi, I guess. Or two, you want every American citizen to die because they don't have Medicare for all, and the only reason you're not voting for it is because you're bought off by Big Pharma and your pockets are being lined by foreign interests in APAC and Big Pharma to watch American citizens suffer for no reason other than your own greedy endeavors. Like, that's not, there's no two-way street there. That's not tenable, I think. But in my opinion, the biggest problem is that the lefties always fail anywhere else and are always attacking the Dems. Sure. But then they also have the advantage, too, of, like, not having governed. So it means that they can say or promise anything. Maybe we'll see something different when they start to govern, too. Who knows? They might break off in the future of their own thing, and that would be the long term. No, I don't think. The American political system doesn't really have a place for three parties. It's got to be two, unfortunately, the way that it works. Well, I say unfortunately, but I don't know.
Everybody in America knows the answer to this question. Why are you refusing to give it before this panel under oath? He won the popular vote in the 2020 election, correct?
Senator, as this is a disputed political matter.
Disputed. All of these judges have to go. All of these judges have to go.
And there is ongoing litigation. And as a judicial nominee, I'm not
Who won
permitted.
who won the Electoral College in the 2020 election?
A joint session of Congress determined that Joseph Biden won the Electoral College.
Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
A joint session of Congress determined that President Trump did not win the Electoral College.
Was the Capitol attacked on January 6th?
Senator, there was violence and vandalism on that day, including with regard to law enforcement officers. I think all of that was inappropriate and wrong.
And illegal.
Certainly, there were court findings of
There were
illegality.
convictions.
Wait, this isn't the same. We're not re-listening to the same thing we listened to before, right? Is this a different? Is a different guy giving these answers, right? They all do this. It's different. Okay.
That's correct.
And people were convicted of attacking the Capitol, correct?
I don't know if any court used the phrase attacking the Capitol. I think the Supreme
Well,
Court.
wouldn't you use it to describe what happened on that day? Everybody in America has seen the videos.
Is there a way to ask this 2020 election question where these maggots cannot wiggle out of it? Actually, the last time we listened to one of these, or it was the time before, they did a really good job of asking who won the 2024 election, and the guy said Trump won the 2024 election, and that was it. And then he compared it to, I don't know if it was it Blumenthal? And then he compared it to like, oh, that's crazy that you said that Trump won the 2024 election, but for 2020 you just said Biden was certified the winner, you know?
Everybody in America knows that.
Are left-wing populists just as conspiracy brained as the conservatives? I would say yes. I was going to say maybe more, but I don't know if they can be more conspiracy brain. I think everybody is fucked right now, but I think that's a social media problem that nobody wants to address or is able to address.
Capitol Police were injured. Some died. Wasn't it an attack on the Capitol?
Senator, it was an attack on a number of individuals, and that was...
Wait, Josiah! Don't leave. Is he here? Here's a question for Josiah. I have the thing you linked. Fuck. Is it already gone?
Wrong and inappropriate.
Why are you unwilling to say, honestly and candidly, to this committee that the Capitol was attacked?
Well, Senator, as a judicial nominee, I'm here to talk about questions of law, not fact. I know the United States Supreme Court has
No,
said
you're
that the
here
Capitol...
to talk about what we asked you to talk about, and questions of fact are absolutely to the point when we are asking whether you are willing to state facts honestly.
I don't know what Blumenthal's background is. This is not a question of fact. I don't feel like. I think this would be more, I don't know if you would consider it a question of law or just like a philosophical question on was the Capitol attacked? There are no facts in dispute here. It was a very legalistic term that he used. I feel very improperly there. There is no factual dispute here over what happened. It's your characterization of it that Blumenthal has an issue with, and he should have an issue with it. Josiah's here. Does anybody cover this on any of the mainstream media shows like CNN or MSNBC, or does anybody make a big deal about nobody being able to answer these questions?
And candidly, because it goes to your integrity and independence. If you're going to be...
Like, what am I watching here? Like, Aaron Rupar, this guy that is taking... Is this like from C-SPAN, or what does this come from?
It's no...
It's likely from C-SPAN. Oh, this guy is a lawyer. Oh, okay. Blumenthal. Very little, sadly. Most people just skip over this shit anymore. One of the issues, again, I'm doing my OneNote thing again. Get ready for it. I'm going to be talking about this a lot for the whole next fucking year, okay? Remember when the Harvard lady gave that answer about birthing person or whatever for abortion? Shit like that. When those clips are farmed by the conservatives, they're farmed, but then nobody does anything with them. Like, they're just clips, and then nobody talks about them in the mainstream media. So they never really carry that far. Every single conservative knew about the Harvard lawyer lady answers, because as soon as they get that clip, these things are run nonstop across all of the conservative media. They are not ran anywhere. But they don't really seem like they carry far on any of the lib-left media. So you don't really ever get this. You just don't get this. Like, I guess, translating to the average American person or whatever. Just another... Oh, another meme. Ashley St. Clair, Elon's ex, has repeatedly confirmed that there are big group chats and big group text among MAGA creators and MAGA politicians. It's coordinated and astroturfed, unlike Dems. Yeah, I know. But I mean, God bless her for coming out and saying that or whatever, but we don't need to hear that. We should know it. It's very, 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 very obvious what happens. It's obvious if you know what to look for. But the Dems will get there someday. They'll figure it out. What is this?
It's no secret that the...
Obvious to the average American? The average American doesn't have to know. The average American doesn't know what's going on in terms of the media ecosystem. The Democratic leadership, though, and the media people on the left should know. I almost opened stream today just reading an article and not telling you where it was from while every fucking retard in chat word spam. Where's it from? Where's it from? Where's it from? That Connor guy that I was arguing with yesterday on Twitter, the Atlantic writer, was the one who wrote that article that I think we'd read a while ago. I think we actually read it on stream, or I remember it kind of blew up a while ago, saying like, this is the case for treating the second Trump term seriously, or not like the first one. Like, the first one was really crazy, but in the second one, he got the popular vote and he's going to rule with a mandate and blah, blah, blah. That fucking dude, oh my God. He was the writer of that article, though. Ugh, whatever.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America hate the Democratic Party.
I think we're all on the same page that we hate the Democratic
What is Canary Mission? Are these Jewish anti-Semitic people, or is this Democratic people, or what?
Party.
Democratic Party is not really our friend. It isn't.
So why are the DSA such major players in the Democratic Party? This odd relationship can be understood with the cuckoo analogy. In nature, the cuckoo survives by trickery. It lays its egg in another bird's nest. The unsuspecting parents raise the imposter as their own until the cuckoo grows strong enough to push the true chicks out. The DSA is the cuckoo inside the Democratic Party.
DSA is not the Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party.
We can purport a clear, aggressive, principled strategy that pushes back against the Democratic leadership and the Democratic Party as a whole.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
I don't agree with the Democratic Party, but it's a great tool.
Is DSA fundamentally different from European Social Democrats? Is it Social Democrat in name only? Okay, somehow this swapped over the last 10 years. In Europe, my feeling, at least for Western and Northern Europeans, when you ask a European, what is a socialist? They'll tell you like, oh, like big government safety nets, unironically. When I talk to young Europeans in like in Western Europe, that seems to be their concept of socialism. In America now, though, for like these DSA types, socialism is much closer to the more hardcore roots fucking shit, which is, yeah, I don't know. It's like the we need to get rid of all the capital owners and the laborers need to control everything, and yeah.
Democratic is a tool that we use.
Not to say that one person is right or wrong or whatever else. I'm just saying it's kind of funny in that it feels like in America, socialism used to just be government does more stuff. But now when I talk to if I talk to normie Europeans, it feels like they believe that like socialism is when government does more stuff.
DSA candidates take orders from DSA's internal enforcers and working groups. City halls and state houses start running as socialist machines controlled by the organization, not the Democratic Party and certainly not voters.
They have to have a connection with DSA's internal politics, and they have to be committed to the eventual goal of building a separate entity from the Democrats.
DSA are revolutionaries, and the Democrats are their first victims. And in city after city, DSA victories prove their plan works.
I think that the model that we used in New York is 100% replicatable.
And just like the cuckoo, once the DSA grows strong, it pushes the true Democrats out, hollowing the party from within.
Building towards political independence and tearing apart the Democratic Party.
The DSA is not here to strengthen the Democratic Party. It is here to consume it.
We're not here to make the Democrats a little bit better. We're here to actually enact socialism. And socialism is not just better capitalism. It's overthrowing the entire capitalist state.
It's our duty, DSA, to cultivate this power.
The cuckoo is in the nest, and New York City is poised to elect not a Democrat, but Zohran Mamdani, an extremist within the DSA.
We understand that winning an election is not an end.
Wait, was this before he was elected?
So the most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Ultimately to overthrow our own empire.
We need a movement that can drive a stake to the heart of the empire.
We need to orient ourselves towards insurrection.
Okay. Friendly reminder. Oh, maybe this was from a while ago. A year ago? If you want to fight against these types, I think you should. I think it's important to. But it's got to be more than just they want to take over the party. I think you got to be really careful with this messaging because keep in mind the Democratic Party brand is very low right now. So you might be saying something that a lot of people think is like kind of based. It reminds me of, I don't remember who it was, but Republicans ran, it was like an attack ad against somebody. And the attack ad was, it might have been against Plattner? I don't remember. But it was like, this guy wants to make it so that college costs nothing and that all Medicare for all is a thing, blah, 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 blah. And like I'm reading this, I'm not actually sure if this is supposed to be an attack ad or if it's like a satirical ad and it was supposed to be like for the candidate because it was such a stupid way to try to attack the person, I thought. But
voter list. So yes or no, if a state refuses to turn their absentee voter list over to the federal government, will the Postal Service still mail their ballots under this proposal route?
Under our proposed regulation, no. We would tell the state that we need the manifest in order to, look, what we're asking for.
This is the U.S. Postmaster General, who's, I'm assuming the USPS is the top dog. Fuck. Hold on. United States Postal Service. Federal Register Postal Service. They don't have the head of the whatever. Wait, didn't they used to? Did they change these websites? Am I crazy? I thought they used to show like the head of the department and everything on these pages. Justice Department. Okay. I thought they used to. Trump is firing them so fast they just changed it? I don't know. I thought they used to show like the current head with like a picture and everything here. David P. Steiner. Okay. Postmaster General is the Chief Executive Officer of the United States Postal Service. All right. Selected and appointed by the Board of Governors of the Postal Service, which is appointed by the President. Of the 11 board members, 9 are presidentially appointed. Okay. It's normal every 4 to 8 years, all of these are swapped out, I'm guessing.
proposal. So yes or no, if a state refuses to turn their absentee voter list over to the federal government, will the Postal Service still mail their ballots under this proposal route?
Under our proposed regulation, no. We would tell the state that we need the manifest in order to, look, what we're asking for.
That's the answer. You'd tell no. So the proposed rule basically coerces states to conform to these.
This is somewhat of an age thing. If you're like 25 or younger, I just don't know if you understand. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way or anything. I just mean like, it is insane how crazy Republicans have been in my lifetime about states' rights and how important it is that every state has their own government and the federal government can fuck off and federalism is a fucking evil thing. Like, they hated this concept of federalism almost. Like, they were anti-federal government in so many different ways. The Tea Party sprung up in a way as a response to like the federal government. How in an almost instant, the Republican Party shed its care of states' rights and immediately hopped on to an oppressive federal government. That has to be studied. It is insane to me. Remember the difference in responses. When Trump was president in 2017, after he won that election, Trump claimed there was voter fraud in that election. He claimed there was voter fraud in every fucking election. Unironically, I'm not exaggerating. He's just a fucking joke. When he put together this commission or whatever to look for voter fraud, the first thing that they did was they said, hey, in order for us to do the investigation to see if there was voter fraud, we need every single state to give us all of their voter rolls. Let me make sure I'm not incorrect here. Yeah. Every single state said to fuck off. There was an immediate bipartisan backlash and rejection of the inquiries with a majority of states quickly rejecting the requests, notably Commissioners Kobach, Dunlap, and Lawson, who also served as the Secretaries of State for Kansas, Maine, and Indiana, respectively, with Indiana being Mike Pence's home state, indicated that their state laws forbade them from complying. Some states offered to only provide information that is already made public or available for purchase. No state has said they will fully comply with the list of demands. None of the states cooperated. However, I believe this time around, I think some states have already voluntarily given it up. Didn't Texas voluntarily give, states give voter registry to federal government? Or maybe I'm over exaggerating or exaggerating a bit. Fuck. I don't know if this story would have been here. Oh, shit. Is that true? No shot. That's so fucking gross. Hold on. A Facebook video. Oh my God. The Trump administration is demanding that states hand over their voter files. Most states have refused, but at least 10 have provided full voter lists. If that's true, is it really a private? At least, okay, and then on this site it says that was 2 months ago. This site says at least 16 states have either provided or said they will provide their full statewide voter registration lists, including driver's license and social security numbers. So we went from, in 2017, 2018, every single state in the United States said, sorry, fuck you, buddy. And then now we have 16 of them voluntarily complying, and then others are being sued. Just unbelievable.
Coerces states to
manifest in order to, look, what we're asking for.
That's the answer. You'd tell no. So the proposed rule basically coerces states to conform to these new requirements and hand over their absentee voter rolls, or face the consequences of not being able to vote by mail. Some states, that's all they do.
Protest Gang Kick Chat said, if you say no, you'll lose your office. Look at all the Republicans in Indiana who said no to gerrymandering. 7 out of 8 of them lost their primaries. Is that true? Is that stat true?
Oregon is completely vote by mail. If they say no, we control the list. The states
And
control the
Oregon
list.
has
We're not
followed-
going to give it.
Oregon has followed Kit 600 since the day they started voting by mail.
This is a different issue. If they say no, we control the list. The states
And
control the
Oregon
list.
has
We're not
followed-
going to give it.
Oregon has followed Kit 600 since the day they started voting by mail.
Is Kit 600 is that some way that they do mail-in ballots or whatever? Is that?
This is a different issue. This will be a lot different issue. You're telling these states either give the federal government this information, trust the federal government, trust the Trump administration. We'll take good care of these. And
I'll read this in a sec.
if you don't do it, you can't mail absentee ballots. You're going to make a decision that people cannot vote by mail. That's unacceptable.
Well,
Thank
all
you, Mr. Chairman.
all that does, Senator, is make sure that we match the ballots that a state believes they're sending out to what actually gets sent out, right? And so
It's not your job. (2026-2027) official election mail guide. This is just for states to make sure that they're complying with the USPS's guide for how to do this. Sure. Is there anything in here about the having to give your voter information over? Probably not. Representative Anna Pauline Luna used Anthropic's Claude AI chatbot to draft amendment to defense bill. The access direct care at the VA to telehealth opioid use disorder treatment providers in the community, late increasing examples, specific factors, identical to HR 100, 118th Congress, 11:25 a.m. Claude responded, requires the Secretary of Defense to designate based. The problem with all the AI shit is it's going to be just like, there's a better example, but I'm thinking of like, when you're reading stuff online and the thing is saying, this isn't real medical advice, seek professional help, or this is just like like a guideline, but people just take it as medical advice. It's like that, you know? Yeah, my staff used AI to spell/grammar check the amendment summary, not the actual amendment text itself. Not a shocker. Most staff use it. I have told them to make sure they are double checking and more thorough. What dork planted this story? By the way, love Claude, but Grok is way more savage. What a dumb fucking cunt. Jesus. The problem is that the AI shit is just so convenient that if you can be going through, 1,000 documents in 10 minutes as opposed to spending 10 minutes per document, people are always going to gravitate towards the easier option. It is, but is it worth it when it's unreliable? It will be to these people. Remember. Whether or not something is good is the time you put into it, the quality that you put into it, and the cost. These are all essential aspects of a thing. If you can use this AI shit to dramatically decrease the amount of time, or we could put it as a gain, to dramatically decrease the amount of time that you spend, but the quality drops, people will think that, a lot of people make this argument when they talk about like good code or whatever. When they look at stuff like this, they're thinking like, okay, well, I mean, developers are going to look at this or owners are going to look at this and they're going to say, oh, well, sure, you might save time, but the quality is decreasing. So, obviously we're going to cut back a lot on the AI shit, right? But they are missing this part. This part, you are saving so much fucking money. If you are saving money and you're able to ship products faster or do things quicker, everybody will accept a quality decline. Everybody will accept a quality decline if you're saving a ton of money and time on a thing. This is people never factor in or never think about like the cost thing because people think they're getting these epic owns sometimes. It's like, oh well, really? Well, look at that mistake they made. Windows 11 just shipped another bug in their Enterprise Edition, so obviously they're going to stop this, right? They might have shipped 5 more bugs, but guess what? The cost that it takes them to ship it, refund customers that had bad experiences, and to patch the bug, at least at this point, is probably significantly less than the salaries they were paying for the 500 fucking developers that they were able to lay off because now they've got a few people running, 15 different fucking Claude agents or whatever the fuck. So this is a big deal. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying it's good and I hope AI takes over or whatever. I'm just saying that if you have to factor that into your mind. I don't like it. I don't use AI for anything. I'm not an adopter. I just don't really like it that much. I don't like when people send me AI shit. It feels, I'm booming so hard, but it feels disrespectful to my time. Like if you couldn't even take the time to write this, why the fuck am I reading it? I don't like AI summaries. Like I don't trust a robot to summarize things for me. People don't even summarize it well. Why would I trust this thing to tell me what's important? Like, I don't know. I'll get more into it at some point. I'm a hater. Pass more progressive legislation than anyone else in your state in history. Be called an Israel shill and lose all attention to a Muslim socialist filling in potholes. She's a union-busting piece of shy. Rip. Who is she? One of the people that lost in... Wait, is this Span... Wait. Yes. This is Spanberger, right? Yes, okay. What does he mean by lose? Just losing media attention? Is that what they mean? I guess? Okay, I think that's what it means. Never mind. I don't know if that was supposed to be an election thing or something. Is this AI? Oh wait, have you considered this? What? There's no pictures on the Instagram comments? On the browser? Holy shit. Fat fucking retard. Last one. Holy shit! He's got our mail-in ballots! Here they come!
Can I just hold the tag to you real quick? All right, sounds good. Thank you. I got a fun one. Clear the air. I got a question, if you don't mind. Is that cool?
Go ahead.
Okay, so Congresswoman, what do you say to critics who are saying that you're using, was it Claude, to write legislative text?
Did you see our response?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'd say a majority of people do use AI to now spell check, but it's actually not legal for people to post or to actually submit legislation to the House.
Why do you have to use AI to spell check? Don't we have spell checkers? Am I crazy?
On that, and actually we issued a statement clarifying and actually made fun of the person that did that because they also used my swimsuit photos from when I was in, my previous modeling career to try to say that me pushing for issues like banning insider trading is doing it for attention. So I would say that you're probably a more reputable outlet than the Daily Mail. It is what it is, but you should definitely post my response to that because, I did tease my staff a little bit about it. I was like, really, summary on Claude, but, if you're looking for a good platform, Claude's pretty good, Grok's better.
Okay, and you're on the Defiance Act, right?
Is Grok actually better, or is she literally just fucking Elon simping here?
I am.
Yeah, so what do you make of people using your photos from your previous career like that? Is that intrusive?
they're not photoshopped.
Okay.
I just think that if you're going to be considered a legitimate journalist, and then you're using my swimsuit photos, which by the way I love the swimsuit, and it's not a bad photo, but you're using it for clickbait, then maybe you should probably go touch some grass. At least come up with a substantive argument.
Right.
Definitely drastically reduced medical errors and the ED for us. Doctors like me use it constantly to help identify issues we might have otherwise missed. AI has become a valuable tool in medicine. It's already improving patient care in a lot of ways. I don't know if you don't see it replacing physicians anytime soon, but it's absolutely helping us do our jobs better. Wait. Dr. Pibb, have I asked this question before? Dr. Pibb in Kick Chat is an actual doctor? It's like super spell checker, basically. Okay.
But I think if I would...
Trump meets with NATO. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me go through the rest of my links and then we'll look at some Hassan slop. The Army, Navy, and Air Force are once again requiring flu shots for basic trainees. Uh-oh. Why? Who cares? Let them build their natural immunity.
Refuses to turn their...
No, we watched this already.
Support Hakeem. You said last night that you still plan to support Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker if Democrats take the House, even though he endorsed incumbent Congressman Dan Goldman. He did not endorse you. After sleeping on it and after seeing the result.
Not to beat a dead horse, and maybe you've spoken on this already, but is there actually any limit to how long the judge can hold off on the MSJ or trial? I mean, theoretically, no. I don't think there is, right? It could be 100 years in the future. I don't think there's a real set limit on any of it.
It's not just in your race, but all these other races come in. I'm wondering if you still feel confident in that answer, given the pattern here and the message it seems that New Yorkers are trying to send.
Yeah, I look forward to helping elect Hakeem Jeffries to be the Speaker of the House in January. He called to congratulate me, and we had a good conversation. Primaries are where we work out the direction of the party, and there's change I want to see, and we've been clear about it on corporate PAC money, on the U.S. relationship to Israel and Palestine, on fighting harder for working families. But we've got to be a unified party to do that. To me, the line is not between progressives and moderates. The line is between fighters and folders, and Democrats want a fighting party. And that looks different in different districts and different parts of the country. Hakeem Jeffries is our leader in the House. We'll make him Speaker in January. Of course, I'll work to hold him accountable, just like voters will work to hold me accountable. That's how democracy is supposed to work.
Was this a DSA guy, the Lander dude? Okay. Yes, no. Non-DSA guy. But Mamdani did endorse him. Okay. Military services, again, requiring recruits to get flu shots as Air Force outbreak grows. At least 222 recruits at Lackland Air Force Base, part of Joint Base San Antonio, have been diagnosed with the flu, and 4 have been hospitalized. Damn. They'll be okay, I'm sure. Man, they're getting such good natural immunity. Whew. He was DSA, but he dropped out after October 7th. Lander calls himself a liberal Zionist. There's no way in a million years he gets endorsed by the DSA ever. When you're out farming and you run into the server psycho.
Everything getting harder to find. Everybody jumping out of it. On your stuff.
Recreation of a movie scene. I just happen to have seen the original. Oh shit, I didn't even know. Wait, I have no clue what... Okay, well... Can Charlize Theron survive the end of Taron Egerton's song?
Me. Yeah. Vicky? Our life games again.
Epic. Jesse with a generational clip in 25k elo.
Arch one lane, to arch one lane. Nice. Lane and arch.
Oh yeah, arch one, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
no.
No! No!
Holy shit!
Holy
Jesse.
That's what
Jesse,
you do,
that,
huh?
That was listening
with me.
Nice.
I feel like this kind of post should be the spirit of the sub. Actual video game LSF stuff.
It was 10 years ago. Well, it did. Oh my god, bruh. Blame streamers for being fucking weirdos, okay? But you guys also love the weirdos. You love the drama. You love all the slop. Nobody can just play games and chill anymore, okay?
It means...
That's on you guys. Voice actor comparison. What is this?
And Jill has betrayed us as well.
And Jill wouldn't betray us.
And Jill.
Never.
It means and Jill has betrayed us as well.
And Jill wouldn't betray us. Never!
It means and...
Am I supposed to feel like one is better than the other?
Jill has betrayed us as well.
And Jill wouldn't betray us. Never!
It means and Jill has betrayed us as well.
And Jill wouldn't betray us. Never!
I don't know. Okay. Starting later today, Vanguard will be able to run in on-demand mode for players on Windows 11. You just need to enable some optional security features for your motherboard, and your taskbar can have 256 pixels back.
We'll tell you. Now Vanguard will only run when you're playing a Riot game, if you meet a few requirements. But why now? Well, it wasn't possible because we needed to know a
I don't even know what half these things stand for. VBS, HVCI, IOMMU. in and out of your memory module unit? I don't have no clue. HVCI sounds like some air conditioner bullshit. VBS, virtual boot system. I don't even know. Jesus.
But why now? Well, it wasn't possible because we needed to know if kernel space had been broken by a cheater before the game launched. But we've been cooking on that. This is all totally optional, but if you enable these settings, Vanguard won't run unless the game is open. About 35% of players are already good to go, and the rest, our new high-definition UI will tell you what's missing. If you're curious, we also wrote this article explaining everything. Now,
Damn. They're really swimming through your computer to look for shit. All right. Ad wants me to suffer.
It was called? And that's a dub. Wait, that's 3 for 3? The Democratic Party machine in the blue stronghold of New York City was thoroughly defeated tonight.
We're on the DSA ship right now. We got Claire Valdez. We got Daria Lisa. Let's go! I've been drinking slightly.
What a fucking night, ladies and gentlemen.
3 glasses of wine, 3 glasses of wine.
Well done.
All right, I'm glad that's on the internet.
Hey, after tonight my price went up. You have to be a Democratic Socialist if you want some of this fucking shine.
He really thinks he's the one. He did it.
Sorry.
I am at Claire Valdez's victory party where we just got news. The crowd erupted because we heard that Daria Lisa has also won, which means we're 3 for 3. We swept it. We swept all 3 Sunrise endorsed candidates. And okay, here's what I'm feeling. When Zoran won, it was a sign of what could happen and what was possible. It told us what we could achieve. Tonight, though, young people have taken over New York City and we're going to Congress. Young people who are unapologetically democratic socialists, who are standing on values and standing up for working people and what we deserve, and standing against the billionaires and the corporate interests that are destroying our future. Tonight marks the end of the bought-out boomer corporate establishment Democrats, and the beginning of young people actually taking over and running a government that serves us and our futures, and not billionaire donors. I feel so honored to be here. We didn't do this magically. I think Claire's campaign knocked 350,000 doors, and just the upswelling of support from young people to be here. We didn't do this magically. I think Claire's campaign knocked 350,000 doors.
Over what time period? That's a fuck ton. If that's true, that was a big ground operation, if that's true. Nice, Jesus.
And just the upswelling of support from young people is so inspiring to me. And we can do it all across the country. We are doing it all across the country. We need your help this week to elect Milot Kiros in Colorado. If you live there, go knock doors. If you don't live there, we need you on the phone banks. And it is electric to be here and be part of. Anyway, see you on the phones.
Stop. Apparently there was a huge influx of conservative money pumped into those races. I'd be curious to see if that was true. My guess here is the overriding headline is just going to be that the Mamdani endorsement is probably really, really, really powerful. Were there any Mamdani endorsed candidates that lost their race?
Can't believe it. It feels insane. It feels unbelievable. But they did anyways, and they were right. Thank you for coming. All of my so many volunteers. I never thought in a million years people, all you freaking sickos out there, that we would be in a situation like this. Who poured over thousands of voter registration files. It's coming to a neighborhood near you, chat. Remember, join your local DSA, join your YDSA if you're young. Join your DSA chapter, start a DSA chapter. But it also showed. Be the change you want to see. The driving force behind this campaign. To root out corruption and bad governance, government armed with the working people of South Queens. My opponent is not just an AI warrior in a red dress. She is the product of a careless and corrupt system that is so permissive. It's not just the blue neighborhoods. We're coming to the red neighborhoods too. The reign of robocall terror ends tonight.
I don't think he endorsed anyone outside of New York, so he's 3 for 3. And then somebody said Mamdani went 11 for 11. Which I thought there were way more than just 3 DSA races, no? In New York?
Richie Torres, I know you want.
He literally only endorsed candidates in the districts he won. Sure. But I mean, like, wouldn't you expect him to do that? That's probably where he'd be the most popular, no? Why is that surprising? Am I misunderstanding that?
Richie Torres, I know you won tonight. I didn't even look at your race. You probably won, you piece of shit. Remember, I was coming for you, but you got lucky this time. But I'll see you in 2.
Oh my God, he really thinks he's him. Jesus Christ.
See you in 2, motherfucker. I know you stopped talking shit. I know you stopped talking about Israel, Richie Torres. What happened? I'll see you in 2 years, motherfucker. Just wait. Richie, I'm coming for you, Richie.
11/11, including states.
I'm coming for you too.
This is our city.
You think shit is sweet? Sit on that fucking seat for the next 2 years. I'll see you in 2, Richie. I hope you remember that. Every day, every time there's a decision that you can make where you are pro-Israel, I hope you remember.
The Mamdani speech at the New York Knicks winning parade got a ton of good headlines as well, so maybe that got a lot of eyes on his endorsements as well. Oh, maybe.
You got 2 more years, motherfucker. 2 more years. You better act right, Richie. Hey, by the way, I just want to point out that a 32-year-old organizer just took out the fucking Congressional Hispanic Caucus chair with a campaign that the fucking incumbent ran, talking about how she said, fuck Kamala Harris. That's where America's at right now. That's what time it is. Hey, after tonight, my price went up. You have to be a Democratic Socialist if you want some of this fucking shine.
Oh, we already saw this.
Sorry. Hey, after socialism, decade of socialism, it's coming to a neighborhood near you. When I said we were going to let 1,000 Zoros bloom.
The Denver subreddit has been completely overrun by DSA brigaders. I assume every other subreddit is the same way right now. None of them actually know anything about the policies either. It's really weird. They just spam super PACs, super PACs, super PACs. I mean, like, it is the slopulism meme, right?
This is what I meant. You got Claire Valdez and numerous other wonderful DSA candidates that are outperforming expectations tonight. And that's because the American people are tired of the same old business as usual politics, the corruption, the ineptitude, the feckless nature of the Democrats that don't want to fight back against the growth of fascism in this country. This is Americans fighting back. It's only the beginning. Decade of socialism.
Okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to react to this for an ad. I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Mamdani endorsement was probably more important than Hassan streaming at New York. But I could be wrong. Hassan's endorsement. Yeah, true. What is this? 284 views 2 weeks ago. Are you the... Oh, you're the guy who made this video. 20 minutes.
Applies not only to
I love you, buddy, okay? How do you think the average Democratic voter would see DSA people? I feel like they'd look at all the energy versus the lack of energy behind Dems and flock to the vibes. I mean, it's possible because the... again, I just don't know how well the lib left fights against the DSA people. And remember, DSA only attacks Democrats, so the conservatives don't ever really attack them. I don't know how much... I don't know where the DSA people advertise as much, though. I know online they can, but I don't know how influential, like Kyle Kulinski, the Majority Report, Crystal Ball, are over like real life elections. I'm not sure. I don't live on the ground though in New York City or whatever, so I can't speak to that media environment as much either. I don't know. Are there like I know that primary voters tend to be your more radical voters in the party, so that probably helps a little bit too. But are there what am I thinking of? Fuck, my mind just wiped. I just read too many comments. Oh, is there like exit polling data for like the primary votes for these? You can see, I guess, like who went and voted. The lefties failed in Maryland and Utah. Yeah, but again, I'm pretty sure it's the Mamdani endorsement is probably the really, really big motivating thing. The wake-up call is going to be when any of the DSA people start needing to do anything in government and find out it is much harder than yelling Free Palestine. I mean, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. The DSA. What is this? Results in different areas. Let's see. Older residents voted for... I don't know how to pronounce this person's name. Is it Espaillat? I don't know how to pronounce her name at all. 60 to 30. Younger residents favored Chevalier. 60-36. College educated favored Chevalier. Lower income areas favored the S person. Hold on. I just need to hear their names said. 1 second.
Evening. This is an NBC News election alert. I'm Steve Kornacki, NBC World Headquarters. We have got results in multiple states voting today. And let's go right to the biggest surprise of the night. This is in New York City. This is a 5-term incumbent member of Congress, Adriano Espaillat. He has been defeated in the Democratic primary by challenger Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier.
Chevalier versus Espaillat.
In the New York City. This is a 5-term incumbent member of Congress, Adriano Espaillat. He has been defeated in the Democratic primary by challenger Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier. She is aligned
Espaillat Chevalier. Okay. Chevalier won a little bit with higher income areas. Hispanics broke for Espaillat more. What was the turnout for this election? Because if I was just looking at this, my assumption would be that Espaillat would win, because older people tend to break, or I'm sorry, older people just tend to vote more. I wonder what the actual breakdown was if more young people voted for once. So the young, white, rich kids like socialism. Well, I mean, like it's not that off here for Black and Hispanic. Like Black was 45 to 47. It's pretty equal. Hispanic was 40 to 56.
Increasingly, people are all talking about the fight going on today in the Democrats in New York between sort of the more established Democrats that tend to side with Chuck Schumer, who's the Senate Minority Leader, and the younger ones who are sort of pro-Mamdani kinds of people. I think what we're really seeing is a much broader...
Jesus. Wait, how many people live in... Are these the final vote tallies? How many people live in the Bronx versus live in Manhattan? Manhattan population is 1.66 million. Bronx population, 1.4 million? Am I missing something? 58,000 people in Manhattan voted and only 8,000 in the Bronx voted? Holy shit. Am I missing something? The district isn't the entire Bronx and Manhattan, it's just a part of them. Are these similarly populationed difference or districts, or isn't that the vote difference? Is it just the vote difference? It doesn't look like it. I'm guessing this is with 88% of the vote in. It's showing that Chevalier? Chevalier, was that it? Got 33,000 here, and Espaillat got 30,000 here. Oh, it's a small section of the Bronx. No, the Bronx is way smaller. Bronx, would it be Bronx County population? But this says 1.4 million versus Manhattan County population is 1.66 million. Wait. That's the district. New York's 13th congressional district. Oh. I'm sorry. You're right. So this congressional district doesn't include... This is just a... I understand. I'm sorry. Okay. So this includes like a portion of the Bronx, but not the entire Bronx. And then a much larger chunk of Manhattan, I think. Okay. Makes more sense. So overall, it includes about 747,000 people as of 2023. Still 10% turnout is small. Well, I mean, primaries tend to have much smaller turnouts, right?
Realignment across the political system that is not really going to map at all onto Republican and Democratic going forward. It's going to map onto democracy versus autocracy. And in that, you're going to see a whole bunch of new candidates, certainly on the Democratic side and the independent side, because some of those Democrats are not going to call themselves Democrats, they're going to call themselves independents or whatever. And there's going to be a spectrum of them. But the old alliances are breaking down. And instead, I think we're going to see a real push for things like healthcare, education, housing, roads, hospitals, the things that we've gutted for the last 45 years and that Americans really want to see come back. And one of the things that's really interesting, if you want a real shocker, take a look at what percent of Americans want to have money out of politics. And then take a look at who believes that. That is not a partisan position. That is bipartisan. Republicans, independents, and Democrats all want to get big money out of politics. Crucially, some of electeds want it out too because they don't like that they have to spend all their time raising money. And then,
can you explain primaries? Why are they able to run against Democrats even though they are in the DSA? Primaries are just when you have like your parties have their internal vote for who they want to represent them in the general election. The DSA are registered as Democrats, so they can run on the Democratic primaries.
Money out of politics. Crucially, some of electeds want it out too because they don't like that they have to spend all their time raising money. And then take a look at how many people want to fix the healthcare system. Not partisan. You look at these issues that have been cultural issues for a long time, especially on the Republican side, and all that's falling apart. So when you're thinking about where power is sloshing, and you're watching these sort of machinations in Washington, D.C. to see, like, is J.D. Vance going to be able to sneak the power away from Trump? And there are many suspicions that...
People just overreacting as this was an election in New York City after all. I mean, like... Mamdani has a lot of political capital power. We know that. And then, I mean, a lot of people have feelings about the DSA, me included, that think they're kind of gross. The problem is just there's a whole bunch of like really, really bad, nasty political, cultural things that are coming on for like socialist related baggage right now that is kind of like fuck the West and fuck America. And you don't have any way to counteract that. Most libs just see it as like, oh, it's okay. They're a little bit further left. You don't have an effective mechanism by which to message on your own to signal back against it. And so it feels, as a lib left, it probably feels a little hopeless because you are constantly under assault by the right. And now you've got this growing cancer left in your party that in a lot of ways is actually just fucking insanely unhinged. But you have no way to like communicate or fight against any of it. And then everybody's just living in this fantasy world where I think she's just giving like a description and analysis. I don't know how much she agrees or doesn't agree. But it's like, a lot of these people are just running on this idea that, oh, like single payer healthcare, we're on the precipice of having it in the United States if we can just get like the evil billionaire class out of the way. But it's not that easy. It's not even close to that easy. So it's like a overpromise, underdeliver thing repeated over and over and over again, like we just did with Trump. Not to say that it's impossible to get it done. You could. I think people sometimes underestimate how difficult it is to actually iron out these like real policies and everything.
J.D. Vance and his team are the ones who are leaking this information to the press about things like that.
I wish pro-Ukrainians could be as unhinged towards the DSA politicians like pro-Pallies have. Nobody cares about Ukraine in the United States. Nobody cares about Palestine in the United States either. It all comes down to your messaging apparatus. What does Ukraine represent? If we think that there is moral clarity on Ukraine, then who do we expect to carry that message forward? Libs, right? I would say it's obvious. That's an obvious overdetermined issue that Russia is the bad guy there. So for Ukraine versus Russia, it should be that the position should be you should support Ukraine. It's just such an obvious position to hold. But that's the thing that's detrimental to conservatives and beneficial to libs, and libs can't message. So absent the libs messaging, you look to the Palestine issue. Well, who does Palestine, all that shit benefit? It benefits the tankies, right? Well, the tankies message pretty well for in their spaces. So the tankies will use the Palestine thing to beat the libs over the head over and over again with it. And that's why you only ever hear the Israel-Palestine shit being spoken about, because Ukraine-Russia doesn't benefit the far-left people. And there's probably more people on the far left who are a little warmer to that Stalin socialist shit, like who are big figures than maybe we realize, and then the population can continue to be massaged by your subversive political actors until who knows at what point you get to it, I don't know. Do you think half those DSA tards would be willing to pay the taxes that come with Medicare for All? I don't know. I've never seen evidence of them for it, unfortunately. Like, again, if you want these big social programs, you need to dramatically expand your tax base, but most of them don't seem to want to have real conversations about taxes. They just exist in this weird delusion of the billionaires can all pay for it if we just wealth tax them enough or something. But again, this is why I'm saying I don't know if they would actually be able to do any of these policies, because everything they do is just kind of like social signaling, and on paper it doesn't really work out at all.
The drug that Trump may or may not be taking, and so on. The real place that power is starting to slosh and starting to get picked up is by the American people. And just so you know, we're not going to do that right all the time. We never have. It's the same thing that happened in the 1850s and the 1890s and the 1930s. And you don't remember the really crappy representatives that we threw up into power in that period because they've been forgotten. Lots of forgettable people, some lunatics, right? You've got Ignatius Donnelly from Minnesota, is the guy who believed Atlantis was real and was an anti-Semite. And, he was out there. And most people don't remember him now. He wrote this apocalyptic novel in which at the end of it, well, never mind. Someday I'll do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, that sloshing of the power of the people is going to turn up some what would we call it? It's going to turn up some algae. Sorry, it's going to turn up some of the stuff that we don't necessarily want to see in our politics. But it's also going to turn up a whole bunch of new people, a whole bunch of new ideas, and a whole bunch of new ways to create a different future. But the trick of it for us is going to be always to remember that power resides where we agree it resides. So if you look at what happened in Prairie Land, Texas, and the sentencing of these poor people to, create 100 years in prison, and you say, oh, I don't want that to happen.
Do you still maintain that Republicans are worse, or should we start rethinking that when it comes to DSA types? I don't know. I would have to think really hard about that. I've never really considered like commies versus Nazis before, whatever. They're both like bucketed in the same brand of kind of like weird, anti-liberal, quasi-authoritarian ideologies. So I've never really thought of like ranking them, but like I would say they're of a similar quality or similar kind of. When I think of like a socialist versus like a fascist or whatever, they're of a similar character to me. So they would be in the same bucket. I don't know which one would be worse or better.
It happened to me, so
but I would consider both to be like existential threats to the United States.
My mouth. Then we're in real trouble.
Or at least my vision of the liberal democracy in the United States.
If you look at that and say that is outrageous and this is not a country where somebody should be thrown into prison for 50 years because they were standing near somebody who fired a gun and they were just protesting ICE, and you keep speaking up, the more we claim that power, the more our electeds will recognize that we have claimed that power. And the whole balance of power in the government is going to shift. And this is the moment we're in. I want to emphasize that it's going to be rocky. Like, I know people are laughing at the stuff Trump is doing. It's not funny. I mean, you kind of got to laugh at some of the stuff, and certainly I love social media because people are so funny. I'm really not, and I love it when other people are. So yeah, laugh where you can, but we're in a really dangerous time in the United States. We are in a really dangerous time, and it's going to continue to be dangerous. But if we believe in the tenets of American democracy, and if we hold together with our communities and with our families and with our friends, and we believe in decency and in the idea that we should be treated equally before the law, and that we should be able to have a say in our government, and that we should have equal access to resources. We shouldn't be handing all this stuff out in no-bid contracts and handing stuff to Peter Thiel and handing stuff to Elon Musk. If we hold on to that, there are 321, I think it is, million people. Sorry, I'm getting my M's and B's confused because I've been dealing with money in these contracts. Million people in the United States, and that's enough to really hold the line and to rebuild our democracy. So I've given you a lot of like negative stuff here today. And I don't want anyone to be like, yeah, we're done. This is great. Trump's falling apart, because it's going to get more dangerous, not less. But what you are seeing is finally Republicans speaking up against Trump, recognizing how unpopular he is, people running for office speaking up against him, MAGA increasingly getting isolated. And as they do so, trying to force their will on the rest of us. And it's going to be a rocky summer and a rocky fall. But the momentum is where it needs to be, which is with the American people. And when that happens, when the American people wake up again and recognize that democracy is about us and it brings us benefits, but it also gives us an incredibly important role in protecting that democracy and in getting what we think this country should be accomplished, that's when we do our best work. And so I hope that's kind of giving you a sense of where we are and where we can go. Speak up, run for office, work for people.
Trotsky. We got people who love Stalin, Mao, maybe even Trotsky, who are now saying, I'm going to vote. I'm going to engage in electoralism for once. I'm going to engage in electoralism. I'm going to vote for Claire Valdez. I am further to the left, and I normally do not participate in bourgeois elections, but it's the commie corridor. We got to make it. We got to make sure that people see how red this motherfucking commie corridor is all the way from space. Primaries are how we change the trajectory of the Democratic Party and hopefully change the trajectory of America. Okay? We're going to be heading out first to Bushwick, the commie corridor itself, live and alive from the fucking heart of the inflection point of the American communist movement. This has nothing to do with Zoran's clout. This has everything to do with whether or not Democratic Socialists can door knock and have the capacity to mobilize against tremendous amounts of money pouring in from outside expenditures. It's an inside out.
Unironically, how can he say that? What's the death toll of those guys he just stated? He's literally a Nazi in spirit, bro. Kind of. But there's a couple issues at play. One is that Republicans have spent so long trading on this weird communist attack against Democrats. Like when you see all those polls that say, more people want the Democratic Party to be socialist or whatever. For normie Democrats, I keep saying that Democrats or that socialists in the United States are using like the closer to original definition for socialism. Those are like the socialist types. But for a normie Democrat, when they say they want more socialism, they probably still just mean like, I just want more like welfare, government spending, government safety nets or whatever. Because for so long in U.S. politics, in my lifetime, Republicans have constantly called every single Democrat a socialist and communist. The Bidens, the Clintons, the Obamas just constantly, obsessively use this attack phrase. And we also, I don't think we really learned much about, I didn't learn much Cold War shit or anything in high school history. And if you don't take, if you're not an APUSH or any other kind of IB or whatever bullshit history course, you don't really, I don't know. I feel like I never learned about the Holodomor in high school. Didn't really learn anything much. For the Cold War, we did like the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then we went to the moon, and then it was like the Iraq War in like 91 maybe. And these were like a paragraph each. I don't know if we just run out of time or what, but we don't really learn much about Stalin or Mao or anything else in American high school. So people don't even have like the basic historical background knowledge for any of it.
Outside movement. You obviously have to keep applying pressure with direct action. You have to, engage in labor militancy, work stoppages, things of that nature.
Okay, but there's a huge gap between a generic communist and Stalin. From people like Hassan, no, there's not. These people are championing the way more extreme type. This is why they're Marxist-Leninists and not just sock Dems or whatever.
Work stoppages, things of that nature. But then also simultaneously, you got to have people on the inside as well.
It's the decade of socialism. It's coming to a neighborhood near you. When I said we were going to let 1,000 Zorons bloom, this is what I meant.
What happened to his second puberty?
Weeks.
Why is this guy not old yet?
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with a friend of mine, a man who is respected all over the world, actually, but he's in charge of NATO. He's a Secretary General, Mark Rutte, and he's really done a great job. He was not too much involved when they weren't too nice to us in our recent little military skirmish, but he is a man that's respected by everybody. And Mark, maybe you'd like to say a few words.
Absolutely. And a few things I want to share with the media, with you being here at present. And it's about your leadership. First of all, about Iran. I really want to make clear how important it is what you are doing on Iran. This is, first of all,
it feels like we've lost destiny. Everyone in my life either wants to worship an authoritarian king or they want to dismantle capitalism and have education camps. I want to leave the U.S. I'm scared. Listen, GTA 6 is coming out. Final Fantasy 7, the final part is coming out. I'm sure there are other good games coming out. Factorio 2.1, I think, just released.
About the nuclear capability, Iran was basically getting its hands on. And that would have been a threat to the region, it would have been a threat to the whole world. This is a country which is exporting chaos, it is exporting terrorism, and they were very near to getting their hands on the nuclear capability. You've seen last week with the G7, all the leaders in the G7 applauding the fact that this nuclear capability has been degraded. This is extremely important, and I just want to make this clear, because sometimes people think, why was this whole Iran thing going on? This is about security, about safety. This is the leader of the free world taking responsibility beyond the shores of the United States for the rest of the world, and this is what you did. I know there have been debates about whether your allies in Europe were with you enough. I just want to say one thing. Which is but let me say one thing. Which is, I know you're thinking, but let me, and I know that, about the, let's say, your irritation about that. But when you look at the numbers, 4,000 to 5,000 US planes taking off from bases in Europe. In the 6 weeks this war took place, still the ceasefire took place mid-April. Bucharest, the airport in Romania, having to close. It had to close for commercial traffic because they had to make sure that you were able to send a tanker aircraft up in the air. So this is what I know. There have been isolated cases about which you are really disappointed, but generally speaking, your European allies have been there with you. I really want to make the point. 4,000 to 5,000 US planes taking off from European airbases. So that's about Iran. Now I want to take you, if you stay here, I go over to these boards here, because I want to show you what this president was able to achieve. And I start with this chart. This chart is about the Trump...
He brought Trump dick suck charts this time. Oh my God.
Trillion. The Trump trillion shows you the increase Europeans and Canadians are paying into defense since you took office in 2017. Right. Trump 45 plus Trump 47. A total of extra spent by the Europeans and the Canadians of 1.2 trillion. When you look at the effect of Trump 47, so the isolated effect of the extra defense spending in 2025 and 2026, you see almost $140 billion extra spent nominal on defense by the Europeans and the Canadians. And also this year you will again see an increase by about 120 billion, which brings a total in 2 years of over $250 billion. I can assure you, this is because of Russia, because of the threat, but I'm also absolutely convinced that you being President of the United States, being consistently pushing for something which since Eisenhower has not been achieved, which is the Europeans equalizing their defense spending with the United States, this is your evidence. Then when it comes to jobs, look here. In total, 195,000 jobs being supported by investments. Investments from European companies into the United States, 83,000 jobs supported by that. 112,000 jobs created by the fact that Europeans are massively, about half of all their defense spending when it comes to defense industrial output is spent in the United States. 112,000 jobs. Last year they spent $54 billion on US defense industrial output. There is now an order catalog, order backlog of $300 billion. So $300 billion of defense spending from Europeans buying this in the US over the next couple of years, which is already on the order book. Last year, 54 billion, a total now order book of 300 billion, totally almost 200,000. These are real jobs, real people. Like you had yesterday when you spoke in Pennsylvania, the people behind you. But I want to say two things more, if you allow me. First of all, to get all of this done, we had to increase the defense industrial output. There is a big problem. The problem is that both in the United States and in Europe, we are not producing enough. Our stockpiles have to be replenished because of the war in Ukraine and what we do there, and for all other reasons. You have taken leadership here. Last week, you signed the Defense Procurement Act. You made it possible for companies to work together to be able, therefore, to ramp up their defense production. You have been very harsh with them a couple of weeks ago. I had one of them over in my office. Yeah, it was really harsh. I had one of them over in my office. He was still trembling. One of the CEOs. And I said, this is good. This is exactly what we need. Because we need this extra defense output. This is important for Europe. When I point at all these jobs, of course, also many jobs being created in Europe and in Canada, but again, almost 200,000 here in the United States, supported by all these investments. But it is about defense industrial output, and this is also what the Ankara summit has to be about. The whole first day will be about defense industrial production, because we can spend as much as we want, but we need the interceptors, the missiles, we need the tanks, we need the artificial intelligence, etc., etc. And this is what you are doing that in the US, but also therefore putting all that pressure on the defense industrial base. And finally, you had the G7 last week. I think that was a big success. What you've seen there is that, yes, you are President of the United States, but I want to make this point. For me, you are first of all the leader of the free world. In 2 weeks in Ankara, you will have not 7 countries, you will have 42 countries, the 32 allies, US and the other 31, but also 9 or 10 other countries from the Middle East, from the Indo-Pacific. And they want to hear your lead. You will provide that. I know this. This is what you do in Iran, this is what you do in defense industrial output, on spending, and all of this. You being leader of the free world. And now we see it with Ukraine, the fact that Ukraine stays strong in the fight, that you still provide all the stuff they need, paid for the European and Canadian allies, fair enough, but very important for them to stay in the fight, and all the other things the United States is doing. So I'm really looking forward to that summit. I know that Erdogan, the president of Turkey, looks forward to receiving his good friend Donald J. Trump. But I just wanted to tell this story because, ladies and gentlemen of the American media, this is important. This is your president, but also leader of the free world, taking a leadership role as is necessary.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much. Any questions, please?
Mr. President, after all this, you've been so transformative vis-a-vis NATO, and I think the Secretary General just stated that you transformed NATO, the likes of which nobody would have even thought that you could have done. After all that, do you still think that European allies, like you told me, treated you badly? And if so, what can they do to make things better? And to you, Secretary, can you confirm that all the thousands of flights, as you stated today and yesterday on Fox News, are in compliance with NATO treaty? Sorry.
Well, let me just say, he's been a friend of mine. He's a great guy, great leader, great Secretary General. Everybody respects him. And I appreciate your nice words, but you really have done a good job. And I think if anybody else were in that position, we wouldn't even be meeting today, to be honest with you, because we were let down. We didn't need help on this at all. We've demolished them in literally the first week. But it would have been nice if they would have said, we'd like to help. We didn't even need it, but it would have been nice if they said that. They didn't say it. But as Secretary General, and he's the boss of the whole operation, he was, I believe if I would have called him, and I didn't bother doing that because I was doing individual countries just to take the temperature and see how they...
Okay, I don't actually care anymore. This is how the DSA is going to fix rent.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who...
Who's that guy? Why? Do you make any distinction between a campus like Hassan versus someone who believes in a progressive economic system that succeeds neoliberal capitalism? I mean, I could. The only issue now that can't be ignored anymore is that people, I've said this a million times, I'm sorry, I'll say it again. People just can't push back against further left things, which makes it hard to accept people that like have like some flirtation with socialist types, because it feels like once you start flirting with that direction, you can never come back from it. And I've seen this play out interpersonally. I've seen it play out online in politics. Now it's kind of playing out in the world over and over and over again, where as soon as you start to slide left, there is no limiting principle on it because people are incapable of fighting people off to the left of them. So I don't know how to, I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard bargain to make. Wow. Okay, Salo, thank you for the 5 gifted subs on Kick Chat. Is the waiting on the MSJ a self-imposed decision, or have people you reached out to explicitly rejected working with you due to the ongoing suit? Both parts of those. So like for instance, I wanted to do a lot of work in that Texas district with the crazy YouTuber guy, because I feel like that was just like a prime ripe area for us to do a ton of work in. And they were uncomfortable proceeding with my ongoing lawsuit. My guess is that guy's just going to sweep that area now, because I don't think that other campaign is funded or ran. I don't know how much they have anything to run down there. And then 2, it's a little self-imposed because, like, let's assume that my MSJ gets shot down and I'm in the middle of working with somebody. Well, if people want to try to headline that, or especially the snarker types, the Gisticles and the esports Batmans and all these other people who we're going to know so much more about when my manifesto finally comes out, all of them can run and say like, oh, look, like Destiny really did rape somebody. The judge even agreed that Pixie won the summary judgment, or Destiny lost his summary judgment, meaning the judge thinks that he really could have raped, blah, blah. Like, it's just, and the fact that Pixie is so horny to shove also like new crazy shit in every single fucking filing they can. Like, she's obsessed with trying to mention the minor thing as much as possible in every new fucking filing. So yeah, I think you have to wait until it's, yeah. Yeah, I know. I understand. I don't know. People keep typing this retarded shit. They're just going to spam that you were in one anyways. It's a world of difference. You might be too retarded or online or whatever to know, but the difference between saying like, I have an open court case where it's an open question whether or not I'm like a pedophile, serial revenge porner, rapist guy, versus like, no, I completely won that lawsuit. Everything was dismissed about it. These are worlds apart. I know that, I don't know why. There's always a retard. Tara Nulius did it this time, but I see people in chat and I was like, oh, it's going to be the exact same no matter what. It's completely fucking different. Like, it's hard to resist leftist politics as a progressive or liberal because they argue for unfalsifiable concepts that in a vacuum have no downsides. I mean, that's true of right populists as well, right? Like, populists in general just have the luxury of doing this. You're not wrong. It's just a bit of cope. It is a world of difference, but the people that hate him are still going to use it as fuel to drive others away. Again, if a crazy person emails somebody and says, you don't want to work with this guy, he's currently being sued for all this revenge porn shit, the onus is on me to try to explain why it's not actually a big deal or why the court case is bullshit or whatever else, but the burden there is insurmountable. It's so hard to overcome that. Plus every new ruling, every new motion, Pixie can lie and put some more retarded shit in there. Whereas if the court case is dismissed and somebody comes up to me with this and they're like, hey, can you explain this? I can just say like, this crazy cunt and her crazy cunt conservative MAGA friend did a political hit job on me for 2 years, but the whole case is dismissed and I won on all my claims, right? These are two completely different things. I know that you only see like tweets or whatever and you're thinking like, oh, it's all the same, blah, blah, blah. But like it's a completely different thing. The burden shift is huge there.
For you.
True.
Total Hassan victory. I mean, all of his candidates got elected.
From his efforts, single-handedly.
He did it all.
Do you not have a right to a speedy trial? Right to a speedy trial refers to being arrested by the cops and having like your charges read to you and not being kept in prison indefinitely forever waiting for trial. That's for criminal stuff. That has nothing to do with civil claims.
Civil.
What'd you guys do this morning?
World War I. We were on MSJ watch. Nothing happened, of course.
Sometimes it takes a few hours for the system to register it, you know?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, man. Yeah, I mean, today was kind of boring. Just finished my D&D episode. It was good. That campaign's done for a while.
Really?
Yeah, 71 episodes.
Wait, you said you finished it?
We have come to a good stopping point for this campaign, and it is being shelved for the time being. We're gonna do like a huge like 5-year time skip for Hardly Heroes.
Wow.
Yeah. What'd you do? I heard you were dress shopping last night.
No, I finished all my dress shit.
You got all your dresses?
Yep.
Good. We learned that I love disorderly conduct. Oh, it's such a stupid... What a dumb charge.
Disorderly conduct?
Yeah, it's just a catch-all charge that cops use when you're doing something.
To criminalize people being fucking annoying.
Just let them.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, go in private. Go home.